10 minutes. Okay, so I got to get through two things before this 10 minutes is over. The first one was many years ago. It wasn't many. It was probably like a couple years ago. But time moves so damn fast right now. Who the hell knows? There was kind of I don't want to say there was a push, but there was an idea floating around that I thought was in its form was completely stupid. And it was put out. Do you know who Kinobody is?
Yeah, I remember Kinobody.
Right. The idea was that we should have some type of testing method where we test online fitness personalities for performance enhancing drugs. Did you hear this? It was a few years ago that this was going around.
No, but it kind of relates to what we're talking about when all of a sudden you get someone, and it was Jason Blaha who got himself in a lot of trouble. There's a dumbass. He accused Lane Norton of steroid use, and he was making videos accusing various other people. And
I think you just broke my rule. I was trying to go the entire run of my podcast without anybody ever mentioning Jason Blaha. But you just ruined it.
He's pretty irrelevant in our industry, and I know that's unkind of me to say, but Jason got his ass sued successfully by Lane for making those accusations. So, but I remember this whole thing, but it goes to, okay, if we're so bloody caught up in, hey, is that person using steroids or not? Who fucking cares? Focus on you. And if you're pissed off because that person, like V-Shred is the latest kind of body type clown, right? And everybody likes to complain about V-Shred. Okay, sure, he's a Muppet. Go learn from why his marketing is reaching more people than you are. Go build something with integrity and be fucking better than V-Shred. Be better than Kino Body. But we're not making these people go away, so we better be a lot better at getting ourselves out there. Focus on being successful. Focus on changing lives. Find a way of getting a message out there that is so fucking phenomenal that you are competing with them and you're more appealing than they are. And here's the other fundamental thing. We can't regulate away human stupidity. People are going to be drawn to all of the negative examples that we brought up, be it nutrition, fitness, politics. They will want the quick fix, the false promise, the political rhetoric that oversimplifies complex problems. That's human nature. And yes, perhaps you'll say this is straw manning a bit, but I think it underpins it. We seek control over things that make us uncomfortable, we don't agree with. And fundamentally, I don't think that we should take trying to control what other people think or do or say. I don't think we should take that very far. I think it's a slippery slope. So I really believe fundamentally, let's get really good at sending the best message possible and reaching the most people. So I'll let you come back around to what you're going to do with Kind of Body.
Yeah. So what I would just say to that is, I don't think, the question is controlling what people say. It's just giving perhaps more authority to people who are actually putting out more informed opinions or information. But when we go to what I was going to say is the whole, I didn't really want to get into a discussion about Kino Body or Jason Blaha or anybody, to be honest. I was using it as, because I think he was the one who presented this idea. The idea was like, we should see if we could drug test because I think it was like he did some like stupid publicity video where he took I think he took a drug test and then just show the results, which like that means anything. But he's like, why don't other industry people do this? And then I think it was perhaps, I don't know, somebody else made another video in reply saying that, like, how could we regulate the industry not necessarily regulate the industry, but how could we apply if we were to drug test influencers? So my thought stemming from that was just, what would be your opinion on saying, like, if you had to pass a drug test to get like a certification like that? And further, I would just note that, like, I used to work at a guitar store and I had to pass a drug test to work there. So I think the standard of that is pretty low.
Several thoughts. One, it violates body autonomy. So and I know this is an intellectual exercise, but for the practical thing, it violates body autonomy. So it's a hard no. Two, whether or not someone is a performance enhancing drug user has no effect on the quality of their knowledge or ability to help or coach other people. When it comes to, yes, we're talking about the visual representation of what they look like and the claims that they're making or being dishonest about what really achieves certain looks. But fundamentally, there are some, and I'm not going to say any names, but there are some really fucking smart, awesome people who are performance enhancing drug users in the fitness industry, and there are some real clowns that don't use, and then there's examples of the opposite too. So this is one of those things that people love to get themselves caught up in. For me, I think it's pretty irrelevant stuff, and I don't even kind of waste mental bandwidth on that thought process. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so.
So for me, that one's kind of like that's a hard no. I wouldn't even entertain that whole idea. And then it's like performance enhancing drug use in various other things like baseball or the Tour de France or whatever. Well, a lot of these people are getting around these tests anyway. So
Do you think there should be like a drug tested division of personal trainers and a non-drug tested division of personal trainers?
absolutely not. I'm trusting that the general population either knows or gains the experience to be able to tell the difference, and then and I know that's naive, but guess what? It's caveat emptor.
You're calling some of my points naive and idealistic.
Well, we're also having theoretical conversations, but it goes back to my belief that we can't police. It's a slippery slope to police what we say is okay to communicate to the general population, and at a certain point, the general population does have to take responsibility for the decisions that they make, who they decide to listen to, the advice they decide to follow. And I think on the extreme end of the idea about policing these things or regulating these things, we're treating the general population like they're stupid and that they need to be handheld and coddled. And I would rather exist in a world where I work really hard to share good information and help those people, and that they decide between me and the bad information out there, than to force only information on the internet out of the greater space that some arbitrary governing body has deemed acceptable. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think, again, I think I would rather live in a place that's kind of like a middle ground between those 2 points, personally.
And that's the beauty of it. Like, different people believe in different things. Again, I think it's the libertarian side of me that kind of thinks, all right, too much control over our lives, too much control over what we're allowed to see and be exposed to. And I'm not here going, hey, give Alex Jones a fucking YouTube channel because the guy's a complete crackpot. I hope that anyone listening can hear that I'm not that far over on that end of the spectrum, but I do believe in the principle of freedom of expression.